more than 2, 3 is the absolute most I'll put up with. Like that I care for. Like I don't like seasons with like
Yeah,
six
my
or
thing with
seven riders because they become interchangeable at a point.
But for me too, it's like, and that was my one thing with Wizard. It kind of suffers from this problem as the show goes on, where it's like Kamen Rider, as I understand it, with my following and having done what we've done for this, Kamen Rider is really supposed to be like one, maybe two
Yeah,
riders.
yeah. That's how, to be
That
fair. A lot
that's
of people's favorite seasons though, like
that's what makes it different from Sentai. If it's a team of them,
yeah.
it's just Sentai.
Right. I mean, and
Like,
it's kind of fun when you get like I call it a third act twist, but like in terms of these shows, like your later in the season twist where you introduce a third one later on. But
yeah,
like for the
okay,
bulk of it,
maybe.
it should be. In my opinion, it's at its best when it's two. Like that's the most
Yeah.
balanced because yeah, I think I kind of realized when I was watching Go Go 5 was like yeah, there's 5-on-1 and it makes it kind of less I'm sorry, you can't win unless it's 5-on-1. Like it kind of takes a lot of the
Yeah. For
I'm
me
kind of
again, it
discovering I
kind of
like Common Rider more because there's more stakes to it, I find.
well, it's just yeah, for me it's just I like it because it's different, right? Like if you have it where it's a team full of people, then it just becomes Power Rangers
Pretty
or
much, yeah.
Sentai.
Yeah.
And part of why I like when um and this is an interesting thing that I never really thought of until this exact moment. But I think part of why I like Sentai, not or Kamen Rider rather, not necessarily more, but in a different way.
It's more mature.
Um,
It's got more
it
mature
not
storytelling.
even not even just that, which yes, it does. Sentai is definitely more, with the exception of a few,
The monster shows
is
up, they
more
all they
formulaic of the
all
week.
curb stomp it and then they
Um,
yeah, yeah.
but but no, part of what I think make Kamen Rider work better for me, um, and yeah, so it they feel more like superheroes
Yes.
because they have their man in the chair.
Yeah, yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah.
Like because they have and it's funny because as I'm thinking of it now, it I don't know, I don't think you ever really played with it or played it, so you might not get this comparison. But the having the team of people with you who aren't necessarily part of it makes me think of Persona.
Yeah, a
Like
little bit, yeah.
it Kamen Rider very much makes me think of Persona
I
in a
also
lot of
discovered,
ways.
and I didn't watch this, but I've discovered when the bad guys in Kamen Rider are just, or in Super Sentai, are just monsters. They're not really nearly as interesting or compelling as the seasons where it's
Yeah.
like I mean, you watched Forze, but like in Forze, where the bad guys are also humans. Like
Yeah.
and so that's why I'm really interested. I'm gonna push.
Um
There's a couple I'm gonna push for next time for you to watch, where it's humans who turn into
or
monsters that are way more interesting.
yeah, or and that's where I say certain Sentai ones it does get to be more interesting. Like a couple of mine get to be more interesting when the bad guys aren't just, oh, I'm a caricatured monster.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Like
exactly. I had the same thing with Go Go 5, where I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember these guys from Power Rangers, and they're just not that interesting. But like the Orphanok from Fives are super interesting because there's actual layers to them. That it's the same thing with the Phantoms, where like yeah, or in whereas
and
like
that's where
the ones where
I'm
it's like oh
gonna
the bad guys just because they're a monster doesn't necessarily mean they're bad guys. Like
yeah.
that makes them more interesting than just yeah he's Goldar and yeah I get what you're saying.
Or like where there's like a thing that make like so one of my bad guys in Wizard, it's like, yeah, he is a bad guy. Like he's a bad guy. He
Yeah,
was
but
always
he's
a
a
bad guy.
compelling bad
But
guy.
it's yeah, he's a
Yeah,
or a likable or an interesting or an
yeah.
engaging, whatever word you want to use. Um,
But you didn't find the
but
mystery compelling enough in let's get back on
in
that.
Ryuki, not within the first 5 episodes.
Yeah, I again I own that on DVD and I just couldn't get into it. It just was not doing it for me. So that
Not
doesn't
again,
surprise me.
not in the first 5 episodes
No,
anyway.
but a lot of these it does take like 10. Usually by the first status quo change, I'm like, okay, This is where I'm starting to feel it. Usually it's by the time they've introduced the second rider. Like if they introduce the second rider really early, it's like, ooh, okay, this is gonna be kind of a drawn out thing.
Yeah. For me, it depends. It depends on a number of things. It depends on whether I like the when it comes to Kamen Rider, whether I like the main guy right away, or if I like the people around him enough, I can get past the fact that I don't necessarily like the
Yeah.
main guy right away.
Also,
It depends on the
Kamen
characters.
Rider usually has an audience insert character, so like either a boy or a girl that is just normal that they team up with, or both in some cases. So like your wizard. This one I don't know if it has one, but like it's always like a girl who is sassy, or like a boy who is hopeless, and they like they allow you to experience the wild shit. Whereas with Sentai, it's always like they always are in mostly in the know, and they always immediately know what they're doing, so they just never seem to struggle as much in those shows
Yeah.
because they can't. Um,
That's where it's like,
but
yeah, I think the best way I would articulate it is in Sentai they're cartoon characters,
yes,
in Kamen Rider they're people.
I think so. Yeah, I would agree with Jordan. Is that it?
Kamen Rider Ryuki.
So okay, so that's so funny that all of that leads beautifully, beautifully. In fact, I might leave it in on my eventual Kamen Rider video I make of this, where we go Kamen Rider, where it all began. Maybe we'll see, because I went back and I watched the very first Kamen Rider. The oldest Kamen Rider you could, the very first one. And
Kamen Rider.
what's so interesting about it is it gave me this newfound appreciation for this franchise. And I'm gonna answer all the questions up front. Number one, no, I don't know that I would ever finish this, because incredibly, it's I think maybe the longest one at 98 episodes.
I thought you were gonna say it's gratuitously violent for the 60s.
No, no, it's really silly. It's really silly in ways I'm gonna get into. But it's 98 episodes long. It's like the 50 episodes is long enough. I don't know that I could do 98 episodes.
Holy hell.
I know, and that it's just it's
That's
really
like
old. It's really really
that's
old.
like a lot, man.
Yeah, that's like a lot. It took me 2 weeks to get through the 50. Um,
Yeah.
and even then I barely made it. I was
Took
watching
me
him up until
took
yesterday.
took me until like 6:30 last night.
2:30 yesterday, and I think I took an extra week than you did. It took me a while. And yeah, I just don't think I could. But what's interesting about this is just how many things have gotten lost in that franchise over the years. Stuff like the fact that he rides a motorcycle. Like all of the characters, all of the Kamen Riders all ride a motorcycle because they all ride a motorcycle. There's never really any explanation given specifically, but in the original, that's part of how he transforms. Like, and the belt, like now the belt is such a feature. Like you use the things with the belt, and you use the rings, or you use the phone with the belt, and yeah. But the belt was only kind of one part of the original transformation. The belt has a turbine in it. And the whole thing with Kamen Rider in its original incarnation is he was a robot. He was a cyborg. He was part cyborg, part mutant. That was the whole thing. So the belt had a turbine in it that activated the nuclear generator in it, that activated his powers and gave him the costume. And that was created by momentum. So that's what the motorcycle is for. So a lot of his transformations are he's riding the motorcycle and he turns into the Kamen Rider. And he's also a professional motorcycle driver. He's part of his cover is he's part of a motorcycle driving team. That's the whole thing. Yeah. And so in an earlier episode, you asked, "What's the deal with the?" Whoa, that also serves a purpose. And what was interesting is I always thought that the first Kamen Rider was just one Kamen Rider. Like I didn't realize that the concept of the second rider came in the original series, but it does. So in episode
It was always
14,
there.
the problem with behind the scenes stuff with these shows is it's usually in Japanese and hard to figure out or to find unless you read really poorly formatted Wikipedia articles. But the original guy got into a motorcycle accident. I couldn't figure out if it was like while making the show or independently in his personal time, but he got into a motorcycle accident and he had to be written off the show. And he was written off the show in like the most 1970s way you possibly could, which is you don't show him leaving and he's just gone. So like they have an episode where he's not in the beginning of it. There's another guy who's in the suit. He's fighting a guy. And then midway, a new guy shows up. And he's like, yeah, I'm here to replace Hongo. That's the guy's name. I'm here to replace Hongo. He went to travel the world to fight Shocker all across the world. Oh, and he took this character with him. So she's also not here now. And
But I'm here.
But I'm here. And he's the one who started saying Henshin.
お前本郷武史はショッカーの別計画を追って日本を離れた。外国行ったのか。そうです。瑠璃子さんも後を追って行きました。瑠璃子さんも。私は本郷武史に代わって日本を守る仮面ライダー。するとお前も改造人間なのか。お見せしよう。仮面ライダー。
So the idea of saying Henshin to transform, that doesn't come in until the second Kamen Rider. And he's the one who does the hand motions because that's how he creates the momentum to activate his belt, is the hand motions. So that's why he does the hand motions.
I gotcha.
Right? And what's really funny is
so what you're saying is we should blame that guy.
That guy is the reason for the silly hand gestures, yeah. And the other thing that was really funny is how it became really, well, at least to me, really apparent that as the show has gone on, a real focus has been put on the fight sequences. Like, making sure that the fights look good and are entertaining and are fun to watch and are well choreographed. Like, just like, in most of the modern versions of this show, the fights are always the best part. Like, always.
Yeah.
Not so much in the original Kamen Rider. They're really funny because clearly no thought has been put to them. At least in appearance. Maybe they have been, and maybe there's going to be a hardcore Kamen Rider fan who gets in my grill about this. But he just kind of flails his arms about and like hits guys and smacks them away and like does random kicks, and there's no appearance of any thought of to the actual fights themselves. It's just kind of, and like so much of it, and a lot of old school tokusatsu shows like that are like this, where the pacing is really bad. So a lot of it is like, a lot of the fights are just characters do flips that go, I'm sure you noticed that when you watch Jew Ranger, where characters just do flips, and the flips take like 2 to 3 minutes at a time, and they do them a bunch, and the camera work is so shaky you can see probably like half of the fight. It's like that, where like there's no, like the thing about like the newer stuff is it's all straight, it's all easy to see, it's all like, again, it's all well made and all well done. This is like, I appreciate it for its contribution to like science fiction television. I appreciate its contribution to what eventually became Power Rangers. But yeah, it's very much a show from the 1970s. Like the bad, like the costumes. Like my favorite part of the show is always the costumes.
Oh, I mean,
the costumes
yeah,
are not very good. Like half of them.
It's the equivalent of like if you're a Doctor Who fan and you went and watched the Tales of the First Doctor.
Yeah, it's like,
and
it's like that.
It's gonna be quaint by comparison.
I enjoyed these fights, but they just were not as good as some of the newer ones. Where it's like, man, these are genuinely good, like martial arts fights. Like these are genuinely well choreographed and genuinely well made. And I don't think this show gets enough credit in this genre. But this was like, I appreciate this for what this is. I don't know. Oh, I didn't say the plot. I got to so much of the nitty gritty of it. I forgot to say the plot. So the original plot of Kamen Rider is there's an evil especially in the 70s and 80s, it's always the same plot. But there's an evil organization. In this case, it's called Shocker.
Shocker.
Shocker is made up of various former Nazis who have come together and decided that they still want to take over the world. And
Well, that's a real shocker.
and they're really, I think you saw, you watched a movie with them in it, right? I think. Did you watch one of the crossover movies, or did I watch that?
Not this time.
No, not this time, but one of the last times.
Last time, I think I watched one of the space ones.
Oh, maybe you didn't. Maybe you didn't watch Superhero Tyson, and I did. But anyway, you would know them because they go Dee! And they wear like black jumpsuits, and like if you knew what Shocker. But yeah, the Shocker costumes are all bad. Like a lot of old school Sentai, it's just like a lot of them are just guys in leather, like just people in leather, and the acting isn't. But so Shocker kidnaps people and turns them into robots, or they say cyborg slash mutant. And his whole they are all Shocker has various generals, and that's the monsters. And they back then, just like Sentai, had minions that they would summon. So then each of the generals would, so like there's a bat, and they're all animals. So like the first one, the second episode, they fight a bat guy. So Kamen Rider is a grasshopper. That's why you know how a lot of the costumes look like a bug? You watch Zio. You know how in Zio he's a grasshopper?
Yeah.
That's why.
Oh.
Yeah, because he was originally a grasshopper. That was his whole thing.
I getcha.
Yeah.
So we need to squish him like the rest.
And yeah, and just like the modern show, he's got a girl sidekick who gives him the business. He works. I think he works. He's got like an idiot friend sidekick. Like a lot of the tropes that persist in this franchise to this day begin in this show, and it's really fascinating. Yeah, to see how like a lot of modern Kamen Rider, he doesn't even have a bike. But then the whole bit is he's wearing a biker helmet. That's why the character looks the way he does, is because it's a biker helmet. Like
that makes a lot of sense.
Right, yeah. But yeah, that's the original Kamen Rider. It was real interesting to go back to. To be fair, I may revisit this again to rewatch some of it for another episode. Maybe. We'll see. If there is demand for it, I will. That's what I will say. Oh, I forgot. No, we shouted him out already. You got your shout out. Username whose name I don't remember, even though I said it earlier in the episode.
That one dude
who requested all of this. I will tag you so I don't have to remember your name when this eventually becomes a video, because he specifically requested. It said Kamen Rider 77. I'm assuming that it was this.
Yeah, I think he also requested Ryuki, which is why I picked that one.
Yep, and he requested Kaku Ranger, which is why I picked that. And he requested Go-Go 5, which is why I picked that. He wanted older stuff. So we're going to be going back to older stuff later. So,
unless you have anything else to say about...
Oh, this is where I'm going to ask the question, and I'm going to keep coming back to this question. I'm going to introduce it here. And I'm going to let you percolate on it, and every time we talk about a new Kamen Rider, I'm going to ask this question again. Is Kamen Rider for children? Hey there, everybody. It's NCard Justin here. Let me know down in the comments. Are you familiar with the original Kamen Rider? Have you maybe seen it? Or did you learn something new today? Let me know down in the comments. But in the meantime, if you would like to see our full Tokusatsu 5 special, we talked about Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, Power Rangers, all that kind of fun stuff, click the box on the left. Or if you just want to see a random video that YouTube thinks you're going to enjoy, click the box on the right. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. We put new videos out 7 days a week, including a brand new podcast every Sunday. Or you can just leave us a like. That helps us out too. We will see you all in the next video.